You know, folks, they say sunlight is the best disinfectant, but apparently that's not true in every case. And what I'm speaking of here is a few days ago, you probably tuned in and saw Ezra Levant's incredible scoop about Mayor John Tory's North Palm Beach, Florida mansion actually being used perhaps by members of the John Tory family or extended family, people that have gone down from Canada to Florida. You know, the kind of behavior we're not supposed to be doing? Well, you would think after being shamed in such a fashion, we saw the luxury cars, we saw the bicycle, we saw that the house was being used, that they would avoid using it. But no, these people are so arrogant. They're still using it, and our drone caught a man on a bicycle, and his initial reaction was to take a picture of the drone, I don't know why, and then entomb his face in a towel so he couldn't be identified. My, oh my, it reminds me of my favorite Yiddish word, chutzpah, sheer, unmitigated gall. And Ezra, I mean, to me, this is astonishing. I mean, it's not really surprising. We know from the likes of sneaky Rod Phillips, he buggered off to St. Bart's and then had these pretend videos. Yeah. He was doing fireside chats in Ajax. But the fact that we caught members, presumably members of John Tory's extended family at the Florida mansion, and then instead of going into hiding like Wired and Willie the next day, they went back for more frolicking in the Floridian sun. What do you make of this?
Yeah, well, I just want to start off by saying I have no problem with people being rich, with having $10 million waterfront homes in gated communities. I have no problem with people wanting to get away from the dreary Canadian winters, especially in Toronto, where it just feels gray and miserable. All I'm saying is if you are the mayor who has the strictest lockdowns anywhere in English Canada, it's worse in Quebec, but the worst mayor in English Canada is John Tory. He has become an obsessive scold. Don't leave your house, don't go out, don't. And anyone tries to do anything against his lockdown, he'll send, as you know, what he did to Adam Skelly, 100 cops, 50 cop cars, 6 riot horses. So that's how he is when dealing with his political enemies.
Yep.
But he's part of the ruling class, and apparently he doesn't think the rules apply to him. And so we have tracked parties, gatherings, get-togethers at his Palm Beach home. Yeah. Now, he denies it's him. Now, I haven't spoken to him personally. Yeah. His staff deny it's him. Now, maybe they're lying, but let's take them at their word. I mean, politicians lie, and John Tory has a track record of hiding overseas travel. For example, right at the beginning of the pandemic, he secretly flew to London, England, didn't tell anyone. It was found out by the Toronto Sun. So we know he lies. We know he tries to have a bit of a public track, and then he sort of sneaks away. So let's take it in that context. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that it's not he himself who's been partying in his Florida home. Okay, so who is it? Is it some friend in Florida who's sort of house sitting? Okay, that's a good answer. But I have now asked the Premier's staff 5 times, who is it? Why are you covering up for them? Yep. If it's just, like, it's not a maintenance person. These are luxury vehicles. They're there coming and going. It's clearly not a maintenance person. It's not a housekeeper. The whole compound is under high security, so it's not a security staff. We saw someone riding a bike and then hide their face when they saw the drone. That's a sign of shame or secrecy. Yep. Well, why would you be ashamed of being in a beautiful community riding a bike unless you were maybe hiding your identity? So the fact that he says to Torontonians, you can't open your business, you can't meet with friends, you can't go to a funeral or wedding, you can't go to a gym, you can't go to school, but me and my elite friends can jet set down from Toronto to Florida, which is one of the most open states. Schools are open, restaurants are open, gyms and hair salons are open. It's pretty much normal life down there. I have to wonder, is it the mayor's wife? Is it the mayor's kids? And remember, his son is a pilot. They fly private. Is he going down? Is his family sneaking down from this dreary Toronto winter, made drearier by Tory's own lockdown, and are they partying? And the fact that he won't say who it is, and the fact that when we spot a guy, he hides his face. tells me that the answer is not an acceptable answer.
I think that speaks volumes. And Ezra, let's check off all the boxes, as you just said. It's certainly not a cleaning lady driving a six-figure luxury car. It's not tradespeople. Let's say it's not John Tory's relatives. The only other thing I can think of, do you think John Tory could be renting out his mansion on Airbnb? I don't think people that have that kind of real estate do that kind of thing.
No, and by the way, I did check. There are no Airbnb rentals in this compound, and I would have to think that it wouldn't even be allowed. This is a high security compound.
Yeah.
There are approximately 1,000 residents of this compound, most of whom are not there at any given time. These are the Fortune 500 CEOs. Jack Welch has a place there.
Wow.
John Tory's home, which is probably about 10 million US, is one of the cheapest homes there. It is so exclusive. It is highly armed. There's one gate in and out. It's completely self-contained. They have their own golf course. They have their own clubhouse and restaurant. Once you're in there, you never have to leave. You can have a wonderful day. Start off in your house, bike around, play around at golf, have lunch at the club. He's got his own little dock there. So this is not a normal people. And again, I'm not saying my problem is that he's a wealthy oligarch. I'm not saying my problem, and by the way, his family has it's not just him. Yeah. He and his family have several houses in this compound. He probably has $50 million worth of real estate there.
Wow. It's interesting what you said earlier on, Ezra, that it's highly armed, because I think John Tory is on the bandwagon about banning all guns and all ammunition in Toronto, but we won't go there. Here's the thing that bothers me as a journalist. This was a legitimate scoop. This was fantastic footage from our man in Florida with the drone. Where, oh where, is the media snowball? I mean, you would think this is front page, at least of all the local Toronto dailies. Unless you saw it on Rebel, you didn't see the story.
Right, and part of me feels that's unjust. Part of me feels like the media party, as I call it, is letting down their viewers. Part of me thinks that it shows how biased and controlled the media are. That's all true, but another part of me says, well, that's why we're in business, because our viewers value what we do. And I should tell you that on occasion I've had some scoops that I think are of such public importance that I have tried to, in a certain way, share them with mainstream journalists. I don't want to get into examples because I typically do it very privately, because I believe that the story it's great for the Rebel to have scoops. Yeah. But sometimes stories need to be seen by people beyond our circles. And I should tell you that I offered footage without credit, without our watermark, to other media institutions in this city, and they declined it. I also know that at least 2 other journalists wanted to ask questions of the mayor, but were not permitted to do so by their managers. And
wow,
that is an active suppression of a genuine story in the public interest. I want to let you know that I generally do not believe that a politician's family or their private homes are relevant. I think it is interesting and perhaps relevant that John Tory is a centimillionaire who lives like seriously a rock star lifestyle in terms of his fortune. It's worth knowing that, but I don't think I would drone someone's house just for the sake of it. The reason we're focused on the house and the family is because John Tory has taken upon it himself to be focused on your house and your family. He'll tell you how many people you can have in your house, how many family members can meet. He'll talk about your personal life, your business, your funeral, your wedding. And I think that those are all inappropriate policy choices, but he's the mayor and the emergency laws are in effect. But this shows he doesn't mean it. That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.